Three, two, one, and I believe we're live. Welcome, everybody. We have a very special guest today. It is the gym friend himself, the legend of crypto. Which, without him knowing he's a legend, he just kind of basically became the herald of crypto. Do you know who Herald is? He's the guy who like has all the memes. He's this old guy, stock photo guy. But the whole situation reminds me of him. But anyways, welcome, Kyri, I believe it's pronounced.
Kyri.
Kyri announced him.
Kyri. It's actually short for Kyriakos, but I think most people, especially in Malaysia, have a problem pronouncing that. So I've shortened it to Kyri.
Kyriakos?
So, yeah, the full name is Kyriakos. Yeah,
Kyriakos.
It's a Greek name.
Nice. Cool.
So,
Cool.
Kyri easier, a lot easier. And actually, funny enough, in Malaysia, Kyri means left.
There you go. Yeah, so you're living in Malaysia now. You're from Greece originally.
No, Cyprus. Born in Cyprus.
Born in Cyprus.
Yeah, but I grew up in the UK, so I have British citizenship. So so I'm British.
Gotcha.
I grew up in London, and then I moved to Malaysia about 36 years ago, and I've been here ever since.
Gotcha. Nice. 36 years, huh? That's a long time. So anyways, we'll start from the beginning here about this meme here. So let's go over here. So this is the meme. You versus the guy she told you not to worry about. And then we have Samson Mao, who I'm not sure if you know who he is. I don't really want to talk about that. But anyways, and then it's you with Samson's girlfriend, and with that big strong muscle. And that's it. This is the meme. And you go ahead.
Yeah. No, go ahead.
All right. So, pretty. I'd say it's a pretty like harmless meme at first, right? Like it got a decent amount of attention. I mean, that's a lot of likes and retweets for crypto Twitter, especially. But what really put it off was Samson, the guy hugging the Transformers box. He basically called it sexist, right? And he got very angry about it. And kind of his shtick within crypto, if you don't know, is to be toxic essentially, and to call out people that don't support Bitcoin or are enemies of BTC Bitcoin. And so it's like this guy who is proud of being toxic is kind of mad about toxicity. So yeah, I guess what was your thoughts seeing this meme? When did you first see it? What are your thoughts about it?
I actually first saw it with when I think it was Amy Castor of the magazine, the publication, sent me an email and with it attached the article, and I only then everything came into context, if you like. Previous to that, and I think I mentioned this in the interview with her, and I clarified subsequently. Lena did contact me, not specifically on this meme. It was more about the fake account that's been created using Jim Friend and using my image, and then making all these inference to the relationship I had with Lena and everything else, which was I thought not particularly pleasant, and that was it. And she offered to help, and I don't, because I didn't have a Twitter account. So, that was the idea, was that to stop people using my image. I don't mind people using it to make fun and all that, because look, people want to make fun about me, my body, my age. That's fine. I can take a joke, but not in create some implying that that's me. This gym friend guy, this Twitter account was me, and saying those kind of things, inferring those kind of things with Lena. I think that was a little bit too far, and that's not, it's not true. And it didn't portray, well, not just Lena in a bad light, but also myself. And I thought, it's not that I'm high profile or anything like that, but it's why do that? If you want to create a gym friend Twitter account, use your own image or use some other image. Please don't, impersonate me. That was all.
Yeah.
And then when Amy sent me the email and the article, and then I saw this meme for the first time and understood the full context of it all. And like I told Amy, I thought it was more about masculinity rather than being sexist. I mean, I can see where Samson is coming from if you want to delve in a little bit deeper, but I think I will take it on face value in terms of the creator of the, and again, you can say he's coming on. His intention was more about masculinity rather than being sexist. I think it's intent. You have to look at the intent, and I don't think that was his intent to be sexist. But you know, if we want to take it further, I mean, you know, we want to have a debate on masculinity. I'm prepared. I'm more than happy to talk about what does it actually mean to be human. You know, trying to. I know what the inference on the masculinity thing is here, but it's also only just a limited. It's a very narrow look at what masculinity is. What do we mean by masculinity? It's not just big muscles. Yes, I have big muscles. I go to the gym and everything else, but I don't for 1 minute think that makes me a better man, you know, at all. And I think there's, you know, I'd like to think there's more to us than that. Just this one dimension and all that. I go to the gym for certain reasons. That's it. I have certain beliefs that I have, certain value systems that I have. But you know, I think it was Robert Mugabe who once said, you know, there's no woman, if it's about, and it's not about women, whatever anybody might think. Robert Mugabe once said, he said, no woman's going to choose a six-pack over 6 cars. So
that's fair.
You know, so you know, it's masculinity. There's a society. I mean, society can define it. That's a consensus, but it's also, I think, it's an individual thing as well. You know, so yeah. But I think it should have been taken, you know, with, like I say, tongue in cheek, bit of humor, and moved on. I think it's just been overblown. And probably Samson overreacted, but I can understand why, you know, using his girlfriend in that way. But you know. But I don't know. All I can say is I don't know Samson. I've never met him. I know Lena. What has been portrayed by the tweets about Lena is completely wrong. I've known Lena for many years in Malaysia. Lena was hardworking, dedicated to not only her work but also to the gym. She was not a party girl. She didn't have, you know, boyfriend after boyfriend. She completely different, you know. She was very focused on getting ahead with her life, and she's done really well. So, yeah.
Yeah. So, like going back, so Alina first contacted you. I know which account you're talking about. It was like @GymFriend. So just to be clear, did you just sign up for a Twitter account like recently, but haven't tweeted yet, or was that somebody else?
No, that's me. Real Gym Friend is me. I signed it up.
Okay.
It's actually a completely different universe, and I'm like, whoa, you know, I've looked at it and everything else. I'm thinking, wow, this is fascinating, and maybe it's something. We do have a Twitter account a bit on the business, but we don't really utilize it effectively. I'm still trying to understand the medium and everything else, and how to use it effectively. So before I do anything, I haven't posted anything yet, or haven't tweeted anything yet, because I want to understand it first. I want to understand fully and then participate. And I want to also see, how do I participate? I don't want to go in there and just blast people or criticize or whatever. Do I have something of value to add in the whole conversation? Whether it's to do with Bitcoin, crypto, which I don't think. I think there's some brilliant minds out there. Look, I'm an entrepreneur. I'm not a tech guy. I look at what these guys are doing and I'm thinking, okay, how can I use that to make essentially where I come from is how do I make things better? How do I make things more inclusive in terms of financing, giving people opportunities and things like that. And so this is where I come from, you know, rather than being a tech guy. And I think the crypto Twitter community is very tech centered.
Yeah, they pretend to be. They pretend to know what they're talking about. It's a shit show. Crypto Twitter's a shit show.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, and so it's a bit overwhelming for me at the moment. So I'm trying to, you know, okay, who are the voices of reason, of made sense, who actually want to, and again, I alluded to this in the interview with Amy, the opportunity that I see with crypto and with blockchain is that we can actually, we have within us, I think, the ability now to actually create a completely new financial system. Forget the old one, no point engaging in that one, just build a completely new one that is more suited, if you like, to the digital age, more suited to a world where it's interlinked, we're global, and that will allow more, if you like, create more opportunities, equality of opportunities. So I look at it from that point of view. I mean, this is what I do in Malaysia. I have an equity crowdfunding company.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, I was going to ask you about that. So yeah, feel free. So it's called ATA Plus.
ATA Plus, yeah. ATA is actually an Arabic word for gift, an ancient Arabic word for gift. So essentially what we do is we allow private limited companies to do public solicitation of funds. Previously, you can't do that. It's illegal. So it's like an IPO, not for public companies, for private companies. Mm-hmm. So we give opportunities to entrepreneurs. I mean, the three founders, we're all entrepreneurs. We're passionate about entrepreneurs. I mean, I really think entrepreneurs are going to change the world, and they're the ones that are going to create the jobs of the future and everything else. We want to help them get funded, especially in this part of the world. Traditionally, it's banks and angel investors, which is a very small community. So what we want to do is to open this up, not just within Malaysia, but globally. I mean, I've just received a very large investment from Germany for one of the companies on my platform, which is the single largest foreign investment into this asset class in Malaysia today. So it's opening up. We're giving, it's giving, and it's also giving not just the entrepreneurs opportunities, but it's also giving small investors opportunities. You and I couldn't invest in Facebook. There was never an opportunity to invest in companies like that. Well, in Malaysia we have Grab, but Uber or Amazon and all that. But by the time they go for IPO, it's well beyond the average man's reach. So here we are. We're giving you an opportunity to get in early with promising companies, support the kind of companies that you believe in, and for very little investment. The smallest investment we've had to date is actually 10 ringgit, which is I think like $2.5 or something. For a single share. So this is what I mean about if you like creating these if you like equality or opportunities for everybody. Mm-hmm. Anyway, yeah, that was a pretty long ramble, but
no, that's just fine by me. So yeah, I guess one of my questions now is, what's your workout routine and what's your diet?
Okay. Yeah. I target to train about minimum 4 times a week, maximum 6 times a week. I have a 4-day program. I split my body over 4 days. I separate all the large body parts. The large body parts, I would say, is chest, legs, and back. So I'll do chest on day 1 with biceps. And then I'll do on day 2, shoulders and triceps. And then day 3, I just do legs. And then day 4, back and traps. And every day or every other day, I would do calves. Calves, they can take a lot of volume. And then I'll do cardio every other day as well, except legs day. I do cardio more when I want to what we call shred. I'm hopefully going to the beach next month in Phuket, so I want to shred a bit. So I've upped my cardio routine and I've tweaked my diet. Okay. Now I'm a bodybuilder. I'm not a power lifter, so I keep my sets. I don't do low reps and I don't do super heavy weights. I keep it, and I put a lot of work. I put more focus into intensity. So that means I don't really rest a long time between sets. And I normally train within the 6 to 12 repetition range. Larger body parts, I do anywhere between 15 to 20 sets. The smaller ones, 12 to 15. So legs, for example, chest, back, I do it up 20 plus sets, maybe about 5 different exercises. Now I can do that because I've been training. You see, the thing is, I've been training over 30 years. I wouldn't recommend that to somebody just beginning.
Yeah.
you see the other thing mistake I see a lot of guys doing in the gym when they get in early is they start doing what I would call detailed work. For the first few years, all you should be doing is just focusing on building the foundation. Building a solid foundation, and that is your core and everything else. You just need to actually not do. You don't need to do. I do about 2 hours. You don't need 2 hours. You do maybe just over an hour, and you're just building a foundation. You do fewer sets of squats, deadlift, bench, a little bit of bicep curl work, and a little bit of tricep work, and some shoulder work. But you don't need to do. I mean, I see guys who've been in the gym less than a few months, and they're doing things like for biceps concentration curls, which is a complete waste of time. You have to build the mass first before. So I'm a little bit old-fashioned in that regard. I think the first 2 or 3 years you should just be building your foundation, your core, and then you start packing on the detail, if you like, or the mass.
Gotcha. So just doing bicep curls at home isn't the best way?
No, that's fine. I mean, but I'm doing concentration curls. I mean, look, anything is better than nothing.
Yeah.
I probably don't look at my body as well. I think generally how people look at it, I really kind of look at it as a machine. The metaphor I use is like, okay, imagine it if it is the only thing that transports you through this existence. So therefore, it is technically a machine, however you want to look at it. And I figured a long time ago that, why I dedicate myself to it over the years is I didn't want to get distracted, for example, by chasing money or business or these kind of other achievements without having feeling good, feeling healthy. I've got a lot of friends in my age group, and really they don't look good. Mm-hmm. And I didn't, and they might have a lot of money, but to me, I didn't figure that was a good trade-off. I wanted to feel energetic even into my 60s, and I don't look at time frame either as like normal people do. I think that by a certain age you must achieve this, and by a certain age you must do this, and then you retire at 60. I'm just starting to go again. Not again, but I mean I don't look at it in that respect. I think I can carry on like this. I think with the technology that's available, the knowledge that we have, and the medical knowledge that we have, I could carry on well into my 90s and maybe even longer.
Oh shit! Yeah. So you have to fuel the machine. I saw on your Instagram you have ice cream one time a year.
Yeah, usually when I go to Phuket, I like to finish off the year in Phuket because they got good beaches and good gyms there. The gyms are by the beach, and I can't go anywhere long without a gym. That's my problem. I mean, of course, I take my foot off. I don't do 2 hours. I might go in and do an hour, but just to get a pump and feel good. And I'll treat myself to. They have a Dairy Queen there, which we don't have here in Malaysia. So, but I've had one ice cream already this year, so that might, I kind of blown that. Yeah,
I've had like five times, so don't worry, it's okay.
Again, diet is something that's evolved. I look at everything and I call it the Holy Trinity. If you want to build a great body, you've got to look at it on 3 dimensions. One is the training, one is the food or the diet, and the other one is sleep. And I would include stress in that, managing your stress. And you have to, and I constantly look at ways to improve those throughout the years. I started to get more focused on this when I actually turned 50. I came back. I was a year in Barcelona working on a project down there in technology, and I came back and I took another year off, and I moved up to Langkawi, which is a group of islands north of Malaysia. And I bought a piece of land, and I converted it into an organic garden. I grew my own. Taught myself how to compost and grew organic vegetables for a while I recharged, if you like. And so I didn't train for almost 2 years. I just did cycling and a bit of running on the beach and things like that. So I lost a lot of muscle mass, I noticed. And I was pretty healthy, but I just didn't feel good. And I thought, well, look, then worked on this concept or the idea for what is now at a plus. The opportunity, presented itself for us to do this. So I moved back to Kuala Lumpur, and then I decided I'm going to take my training up to another level. I've got the foundation, training 20 over years then. How can I really progress it? And can it be done at 50? So of course I looked at all the issues surrounding, aging, and we have to be realistic as men, we have to understand how our bodies change naturally. And therefore, what can we do as we age, to make sure that we don't have that physical decline, or we keep a higher level of fitness and strength and everything. And I think that's important, not just for a man, for anybody, because it's all about, it translates itself into energy. If you're fitter and healthier, you actually have more energy.
Right.
And that benefits me also in terms of my work. Actually, when I go to my gym, it's not taking 2 hours out. It's actually therapeutic to me. It clears my mind. I don't think about work and everything else. And actually, when I come out of the gym, after I've done my workout, number one, you feel, of course, endomorphs, you feel really good. Number two is you actually start getting good ideas. All of a sudden, what about this, and everything else. And I'm on the phone immediately, or emailing when I get home, my team, about things, So it's very, for me, therapeutic. I think everybody should find something that takes them away from the day routine and all that. But again, there's nothing like, and I think by the way, the interview you did with, is it Vin? Yeah, he's, I got to thank him. It's very complimentary. It does take a lot of dedication and everything else. It is, and to do what I do, to build a body like this and keep it up until 60, and even to improve. And it's really about, as dull as it might sound, your daily routine. It's that consistency and that discipline of doing things day in, day out on something. And you'll get the results over time. But are you prepared to make that that commitment to something? You might not see the improvements daily. You won't, but over time you will get it. And that takes, there are, like I said, there are sacrifices. There are trade-offs. I don't really have a great, well, I don't know what you mean by great. Well, I don't know what is a great social life, but I don't really socialize a lot. I don't really have the time. Of course, I don't go out partying. I can't afford to. Maybe once a year, twice a year, New Year, birthdays, that kind of thing. But I'm happy with that. I'm quite content. And if people want to do that, if that's what they enjoy, that's fine as well. But it's always going to be a trade-off. If you're going to be partying, and I've done that in my younger days, there's going to be trade-offs. You can't have a bad diet. You can't out-train a bad diet. It's as simple as that.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to decide what is important to you, and therefore how are you going to achieve that?
Mm-hmm.
And how are you going to be the best you can be with what you've decided to do, mm-hmm. or be. Mm-hmm. I just didn't want to have, I thought, if I'm going to do this, I'm going to make the effort. I want to be, as, might sound high-reaching, world-class.
Okay.
If I'm going to build a great, can it be done? Can a man have a great body in his 50s and 60s? Yeah, I think he can. But there's a price to pay, but I'm prepared to pay it, and I have no complaints about it,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure.
So food, yeah, and the other thing, food, I'm lucky because I'm not fanatical about food. I'm not like, I got to go. I got a lot of Malaysian friends. If you come to Malaysia, you're going to suffer because there's so much choice here of food. Because we've got a potpourri of cultures here: Indian, Chinese, and Malay, and then you've got mixed sprinklings of Thai and all these. So your food choices are incredible here. But they tend to be oily and spicy and all kinds of things. So
I love
not particularly.
Love the spice.
Oh, so it's so yeah, I'm super strict with my food. I'm lucky, like I say, because I'm not a foodie kind of guy that I need to have this or get cravings for certain food. I'm very simple salad, very simple veg, proteins, lean proteins, and things like that. Of course, once in a while, I'll indulge and maybe have something like a gluten-free pancake or something like that. Uh, yeah.
Nice, nice. All right, so switching gears here a little bit. This was a demanded question. Who is your favorite Transformer?
Oh, oh, oh God, that's mean. That's loaded. Um, I would say, oh God, Primus, I guess. Is it Primus?
Optimus Prime, yeah, he's a good one.
Optimus Primus. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Because yeah,
Yeah, he's a good
yeah.
one. Okay, here's another question. Do you like to lift small blocks or big blocks? Okay. Anyways, that's leading into a bunch of people in the chat wanted to know if you had a big, if when you first got into crypto, if you have a crypto wallet right now. Some people wanted to send you BCH Bitcoin Cash. So I would assume if you like had a wallet and put your QR code up to the screen, people would just send you money. So
Uh, I actually we opened one in the office for me, but I don't know where. I have to be honest. Um, not at the moment. I do have one. I do have some crypto, but I think it's kept. One of my team has it on. Uh, yeah, so I apologize about that, but I do. Yes.
well,
Um,
you could actually just download a wallet right to your phone in a short period of time, and we could send you money just like that. So um, that's up to you. But it's free money. Hey.
yeah.
But
I'll get back to you on that. I don't know if the team is watching this or listening to this. They find it all amusing, by the way, my team.
yeah, so
Um,
so you have a team around you.
yeah, I got a good bunch of guys, and they're not here at the moment. I'm at home at the moment. Actually, I haven't gone to the office yet. I have a good young team. They're all around about 30, which is like half my age, which is good. It keeps me young as well. Challenges, I like my views to be challenged. And I know it's a rapidly changing world, and they keep me connected to what's actually going on in the especially with the millennials and all that, which is really who we're looking at in terms of this asset class. We're finding that a lot of it's very much preferred by millennials. We've got a lot of millennials participating in our fundraising. Um, and that's why our interest in blockchain and crypto and tokenization and everything else, we're looking at that very seriously moving on. I mean, my whole interest in blockchain was because of obviously, when I came across Bitcoin, it's not just the technology; it's the whole philosophy behind it that I found fascinating. And this whole, if you like, ability to decentralize, not just transfer money, but also, if you like, power, and even defining what the economy is and what is of value. I
Mm-hmm.
think that's something that it will evolve into. What do we mean? Is a like on Facebook of value? And had or somebody does some good. There's a whole sector of the economy that is underfunded because of the way fiat money works. It's limited. And I think it's something that the crypto world can resolve and create more value and help, like I say, these parts of the economy, especially in the social enterprise space, NGO space, um, which face problems in terms of getting funded.
Yeah. Yeah, so I'm not sure if you like follow the whole big, basically Bitcoin Cash versus BTC. I asked you the small block, big block question. I'm not sure if you're kind of familiar with the whole scaling
Oh,
debate.
it's a split. It's a split. Was it the fork?
Yeah, the Bitcoin Cash fork. So,
Right.
so yeah, I mean, generally the theory revolves around peer-to-peer electronic cash using the blockchain, which is Bitcoin Cash, and then you have the store of value narrative, like a digital gold on BTC. So From your perspective, do you see like one preceding the other? Are both important? What do you think is more important? Because generally, if, like from CoinSpice is generally more the peer-to-peer cash thing, and a lot of us believe that you need to actually use the money before it turns into like a digital store of value. Do you have any like perspectives on that whole debate?
No, not really. But what I can say is this: I think we're in danger of trying to label or understand Bitcoin or Bitcoin Cash, or whether it's an asset, store of value, or cash. We tend to use what we understand money to be historically. And I'm not sure if that's the best way to do it. And I don't think we really understand it. It's a little bit like, I don't know if you know that when TV was invented, the format they used to create TV stations was based on radio shows.
Right.
Because that's the only basis they had. But it's, as you know, it's a completely different medium. And again, we're trying to interpret Bitcoin in the same way with what we understand money to be traditionally to do, and assets to be traditionally are, and everything else. And I'm thinking it might be more than that. But again, I'm not the expert on this. So yeah. So now to answer your question, I don't really have. I've not really delved into that. I could look at it and give you a point of view another time. But, yeah.
Yeah, it's
but I think diversity is good, and I think discussion is good, and I think the evolution of both will probably be good. And I guess, like everything, the market will determine which is the more viable, or which makes better sense.
So we know you love to pump iron. Were you involved in the pump of crypto today? It went up a lot today. Was that you?
Yeah, I wished.
Just making sure. Speaking of that weird pump today, so this guy, Calvin Irie, I don't know if you've heard of him before. He's like a billionaire. He's behind this coin called Bitcoin Satoshi Vision. Anyways, he responded to that fake Twitter account you were talking about earlier, and he said, "Yeah, at your age, you should go on a more natural wellness program and not be jacking, my friend. I know a thing or two about how to do this, as I have a full-time doctor advising me." Do you have any response to this?
No, I mean, he's, what you say, he's a billionaire or something?
Yeah, he's a like multi-billionaire. He made his money off.
Oh, I'm flattered that he's even noticed me, number one. Colin, great. No, Calvin, no, I appreciate your advice and everything else. And the natural food and all that. That's great. If it works for you, you've got your doctors and all that. That's brilliant. I do have my own doctor, actually. She's here. She's actually my girlfriend. She's a doctor. So,
nice.
she advised me as well.
Don't need health insurance then. I'm just kidding.
Yeah. Going, yeah, and again, look at the results you get on a natural program. Yeah, I mean, I guess you're alluding to the human growth hormones and everything else. I look at it, like I told you, I look at my body as a technology. That is it. I have an R8. Cars are very expensive in Malaysia. We pay enormous huge amounts of taxes on it. I drive an R8 in Malaysia. Now, it's not a stock car. What I've done with it is I've supercharged it. I sent it to Germany and to a specialist over there called NTM, and they supercharged it. Now, again, so I could stick with stock, and I'd be happy with that. But I want to go beyond that. So same thing with my body. I've decided, look at my body as a technology. And like I said, I'm not harming anyone. I'm not competing. I'm not breaking rules. I feel good. It gives me the results I want, but yeah, I mean, I appreciate your advice and everything else at my age. Yeah, maybe, maybe now it's a bit more of, can I look at a more natural alternative? And I do, believe you me, I research constantly in terms of how men can keep their natural testosterone levels up as they age. Because I think there's a lot of studies that link, well, if you look at the suicide rate amongst men over 50, it's quite high, actually. And I think a lot of that's got to do with hormone changes. that's my own personal view. Look, I could be way off the mark, but it does affect men as we age. You know, the decline of testosterone. Training helps. Being in the gym, if you keep a fitness program, it really does help. Keeping your fat levels lower helps as well, because you know, having the high estrogen levels compounds the whole problem of low testosterone. How do we naturally then boost our testosterone level as we age, so that we don't have these, you know, bouts of depression, feeling tired, no energy, no enthusiasm, and everything else. Look, the other thing is, I don't expect to live forever. That is not my intent, you know. And I'm always one that believes in quality over quantity. I don't want to get to 70, 80 and I'm frail and I can hardly walk and I can hardly push, you know, just do anything. And, you know, if I live another 10 years and I look like this, I'll be happy. But Calvin, I appreciate, you know, and I'm sure you do know a lot about this as well. I'd be more than happy to have further discussions with you on this. Maybe there's a middle ground. There's a way to do it. I think, again, this technology is not static. It's evolving. I think there's probably some breakthrough on the horizon in terms of helping men. But again, these are not things that you take in isolation. You just don't take it. It doesn't work like, you know, what's that character in Avengers? Captain America. Remember when they put him into that contraption, that machine, and then they pumped all this stuff into him, and out he pops, and he's just, you know, he's a muscle man. It doesn't work that way. I would only recommend you even consider taking something like human growth hormones if you're, number one is you've got to be above a certain age, because you've got a lot of natural testosterone when you're young. Number two, if you're prepared to dedicate yourself 100%. And like I say, on all those three things, sleeping, the food, the diet, and the training. If you're not, don't do it. Don't do it. And Calvin's right. You know, there probably be more natural ways that you reach a nice, comfortable level of fitness and health and everything else. But if you want to go that extra distance, like I say, if you want to supercharge, using an analogy with my car, you've got to make the sacrifices on those three things. Otherwise, it's just not worth it.
Cool. Yeah, maybe you and Calvin can have a little discussion about that. But yeah, for sure. Okay, so we had another question in the chat. Some guy said, hey, any advice with the ladies? He's 25 and never had a date. So any advice for our friend with the ladies? He's a pathetic 25-year-old dude who never had a girlfriend. I'm not even joking.
Okay. Any advice? Number one, look, whatever stage of your life, be comfortable with it. Okay. And don't fear being rejected. You can be the best looking guy in the world, you can have the best muscles or whatever, you can have the most money, but every guy is going to get rejected. You can know, even Brad Pitt, I'm sure, gets rejected by certain women. You're not going to be everybody's cup of tea, and don't take rejection personally. But what I find above everything else, what women like is confidence. You know, so be confident in yourself. And understand also where you are in your life now at 25. It's not where you're going to be in 5 years, 10 years. Set yourself on a path. Okay, you want to improve with it, your mind, your body, your soul, or whatever, everything. Set yourself on that path and be confident with it. All right? And I'm sure you get a date. Don't hold me to
Yeah, no, confidence is number one, I think. I mean, I think men might have it a little easier in that, yes, it's important to keep your figure in your shape, but if you just are confident in yourself, it's very easy to, women are just attracted to that, for sure.
Yeah. I think. Absolutely. And the other thing is have a sense of humor.
Yes.
Be prepared to laugh at yourself as well.
Yes, of course.
That's why a lot of things I saw, and I mean, I've seen a lot of the comments, you know, about me. I just laugh and I find it funny and I think it's great. And that's fine. I'm cool with it all, you know. I've read the tweets on you know, on me, and you know, some of them were on the there was some reference to steroids and things like that. I just take it all in good good humor. Yeah. It's okay. You know, I understand people don't understand a lot of things, and that's fine. And you know, but yeah.
Gotcha. I guess I never really got an answer about this. But when did you first get into crypto? Like,
Okay. We okay. When we launched Atta Plus. We got the license in 2015. It took us a year to build the platform. We launched it in 2016, and then I came across an article on blockchain on Bitcoin. So I read it, and then I realized that being a P2P exchange of value, which is essentially what we play a role as an intermediary, if you like, between in exchange of value. We have investors on one side, we have companies on the other side, and the value that's been exchanged is money for shares. So it could be, if you like, in the future, it could be a threat to us, or it could make us irrelevant. So I thought rather than neglecting it, is to try and understand it. So then started getting interest in it, and then I met. I found out there was an event, and the speaker there was a chap by the name of Mark Smalley, who's recognized here as one of Malaysia's foremost experts on blockchain. He runs a company called Neuroware. And so I engaged with him, and we discussed the possibility of, look, how can we use blockchain technology to enhance our offering in terms of what we do. And that's when we developed, if you like, or we came up with the ability to, you see, up until then, the only thing that you could invest into in equity crowdfunding in Malaysia was fiat money. We do allow overseas investors, but then it has to be converted into the local currency, which is the ringgit, and then deposited into a trust account in Malaysia during the campaign. And therefore we thought, well, what if somebody wanted to invest Bitcoin? Now he actually, Mark, his company himself, wanted to fundraise. So we listed him on our platform. He was prepared to accept Bitcoin. So he would accept Bitcoin in exchange for his shares. So we took that, we developed a paper on that, and we took it to the regulator, and we got it approved. The only issue that we couldn't overcome was the digital trustee issue, because the way equity crowdfunding works in Malaysia is that when investor invests, it sits in the money until the campaign is successful or closes. It sits in a trustee account. It must be a recognized, acceptable trustee. Now, for fiat money, there are a lot of trustees in Malaysia. We use one that is a subsidiary of a bank here. Now, in the case of Bitcoin, we don't have a digital trustee, mm-hmm. or one that could be acceptable to my regulator. So that was the only stumbling block. But we persisted with. I mean, it's not that we're continuing to look at the technology, and in fact, what we want to do is we're looking at now launching this year a secondary market. My license allows me to do a secondary market on these shares that are issued during the fundraise. We will build it on using blockchain. So I'm working now with partners on that. I see it as a way, as also blockchain is facilitating digitization. And if you look at I think the emergence of things like STOs and everything else, it makes a lot of sense for us to continue to invest in the technology and understand the technology.
Gotcha. Well, welcome Karbonbased to the stream.
Hello.
Welcome. So this is quite the meeting here that we have going on. I can't edit this name for some reason, but I'm speechless. We have the real gym friend and the guy who started it all, Karbonbased. So how are you doing today, Carbon Davis?
I'm okay.
Yeah, you're okay.
Yeah, I'm doing all right.
All right. Well, good to hear. So yeah, Kyri, I'm not sure if you followed Amy's article touched on it a little bit, but how Carbon's account got shut down due to DMCA copyright violations for just posting pictures. And so he's back on a private account, but are you still trying to recover your original account?
I am. I guess I can say it now. I filed counter notices today. So we'll see what happens next.
Nice.
My lawyer filed them today.
Oh, God. Lawyered up. You gotta, I guess.
Got a good pro bono attorney.
Nice.
Be able to do it.
Nice. Yeah. Do you have any, Kyri? Do you have any thoughts on that copyright thing that was taken? That was filed.
Specific. I'm not sure if I follow 100%. What I call it, carbon-based, carbon. What? It's just. It was actually the infringement. Like I say, I have no issue using my image, not in the context that you used it in. That's not, the meme itself is not a problem for me. So I don't know what was it this particular meme or was it some other?
It was a whole bunch of different posts of screenshots, pictures, all publicly available. The DMCA notices were all fraudulently filed in other people's names against me.
Related to this specific meme or other things as well?
Not related to this specific meme. Some were. There was a batch that were related to this specific meme, filed under Lena's name. But there were also about 6 others that were just other people, completely unrelated, just jokes I was making. I like making jokes.
Yeah.
Which I didn't think was a crime. I still
right. Yeah. Again, I mean, obviously this raises a lot of issues, especially with regards to what image, if images are out there in the public sphere, what is the ownership issue or but again, I guess it's context, and I guess there's a legal dimension to it. So, but I don't know what to say because I don't know what Twitter's rules are. Like I say, I'm just new to Twitter. I don't know what grounds they have. If the rules are stated there, I don't know. I guess the rules are the rules. But again, I think what can be discussed in public, maybe we've gone overboard with sensitivity, maybe.
Yeah, so like the original takedown was from Lena, and so just to clarify this whole situation, it was from Lena is what it said, but it was like some weird for hire, basically a company that you could pay some money to and they'll just like send an email to Twitter. And after the first one, was it like the next day, all of a sudden like 5 or 6 more came in, and those definitely were not from the people that they said it were.
Because they all said they didn't authorize this.
Yeah, and Lena also said she didn't, which we're not sure. I mean, it's hard to tell, but yeah, that's kind of what happened. And so then from there, Carbon's account just got axed. But yeah, Kyri, I think you could literally post anything on Twitter. I think you're already at like 500 followers somehow, and you haven't tweeted once. I think that's got to be some sort of record.
Yeah. Okay. Wow.
Just say hi, Twitter. Bitcoin's great or something.
Like I said, I'm just waiting. Carmen, I got to be honest. I'm new to Twitter. I want to understand because it is contextual, and the way I post on, say, Facebook or Instagram will be completely different from Twitter. It's a different medium altogether, and I just need to understand it, get the nuances of it, and the feel of it, the pulse of it.
Honestly, again, you could just post all your
value to contribute. I don't know whether I should. Again, I don't think I'm the foremost expert on crypto or Bitcoin to post on that. Again, I'm probably not the foremost expert on training and gym and all that either. So it's I'm trying to get if you like a perspective where I can contribute in a meaningful rather than just adding to the noise. I just don't want to go in and adding to the noise and whatever. If for example, I can inspire some people to maybe be a bit healthier, or that's great as well. And I love to take the discussion with Calvin also a little bit further in terms of how men, in terms of evolution or how we age and everything else, and what's the best way for a man to age. without losing, if you like, his masculinity and his energy levels and everything else.
I mean, I think you're the expert in that.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Well, I'm probably an example of it. Look, I've used, like I said, of course, thinking of my body as a machine, and I've been experimenting on myself to a certain extent. And I do it with caution and everything else. And I do it, whatever I do, I research a lot. You know, I before I do anything, I research it and I understand it. And like I said, I'm constantly looking at ways to improve the Holy Trinity, the aspects of the Holy Trinity. You know, I had a sleep problem before. I wasn't sleeping enough, and I tried to manage stress levels as well. I've learned to manage my stress levels a lot better. So I always constantly look for ways to tweak on it. So if you like, I'm you know, maybe I should write it all down and pass it on. You know, this is an experiment. You know, if I drop dead tomorrow, at least, you know, people will understand, okay, what can be done, and can they build on that? Can they improve on that? You know, he did this and he achieved this. Can there be a better way to do it? What can I add to it? I think that's all we can do, right? Collectively, is we share and we try and help each other improve.
Yeah, I mean, literally for your Twitter, you could literally just post your Instagram pictures and then just like tips for the gym and wellness, masculinity. You don't even have to touch crypto if you don't want to, and people would still love it. But that's of course.
Yeah, or you just tell them to buy Bitcoin
with a bunch of rocket ship emojis.
They'll eat that up. They eat it up all day.
No, I mean, yeah, no, it's not that I'm unknowledgeable about crypto and all that. Like I said, I don't look at it from 100%. The technology part is a bit too deep for me, and I leave it to those guys. I just look at what's coming out of it in terms of look at the applications that are being developed, the infrastructure, the way it's being developed, and what can I do for that? Well, how can I use this in terms of what I want to achieve in my business, which is like democratizing wealth, giving more opportunity for entrepreneurs to raise funds, giving opportunities for people to invest in promising companies. You know, not just in Malaysia, but globally. We have ambitions, big ambitions for the company. We want to take it global because I think entrepreneurship is just going to boom over the next 10, 20 years. You look at where the jobs, are in the future. We need to support that.
Yeah. So I'm not sure if you're like super familiar with Carbon-Based style on Twitter, but he's kind of like anti-Bitcoin. I don't know how you would.
Yeah, I got that. Yeah, great. I think that's important, Carbon.
I'm not anti-Bitcoin.
Oh. What do you describe yourself? How would you say?
I'm not in favor of the industrial side of Bitcoin and blockchain, or the cult of personality around a lot of the people involved in the space. And that's probably a source I find great humor from all the personalities and their attempts to pander to their audiences. That's what I would say.
I can understand that.
Yeah, it's accurate.
Yeah, go
on. You have a site called Defund Crypto. How's that going?
It was a parody site. I made it in one night, and like half a bottle of whiskey. So it really hasn't been updated since then. It's about time I did some new website or something.
Carbon, can I ask, do you go to the gym?
I used to go to the gym a lot. I have not been going to the gym, but I'm about 3 months away from my wedding. So I'm back on.
Congratulations.
I'm back on keto, and I'm back on going to the gym.
Good.
Yeah.
It's a good investment.
No, I used to really work hard on it, but I'm sure you're familiar. It's like there's some level of diminishing returns or feeling like you never attain the goal you want to attain, no matter how hard you try.
Yeah, I agree. You're always going to reach those plateaus, and everything else. The challenge is then you've got to rethink your strategy and your approach to it. How do you tweak those things in order to get to that next level?
Yeah.
I mean, we can have that conversation offline later. Right.
Yeah,
So,
I'm gonna DM you for tips when I get my account back.
great.
That's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna be like, look, I'm at a plateau. I need your help. I need you to be my gym friend now.
Sometimes maybe just get out of the gym and do something completely different, cycle or something, or do hiking or something like that,
Do you do much cardio?
Not a tremendous amount, but I love hiking. And I mean, I used to cycle a lot, not race bikes, but road bikes and all that. When I was in Barcelona, I did a lot of cycling there. And then when I moved up, when I came back to Malaysia, I brought my bike back with me, and I'm up in Langkawi when I was living up there. There's an island, group of islands, a nice island up in north of Malaysia. I used to do a lot of cycling around the island, but not so much back since I came back to KL.
Follow-up question.
Doing very limited moderation now. So what I do is, of course, I cut out a lot of my carbs out of my diet.
Yeah, of course.
So I really get very threadbare now in terms of carb consumption now. So I don't need to do too much cardio because my main focus is on building more mass. See if I can do it at my age, in my 60s. It seems to be working.
Very nice.
Yeah.
I have a question for you though. Have you ever skipped leg day?
Skip
Ever?
leg day. No.
That's exactly what I thought. I figured you've never skipped a leg day.
No.
Silly question.
Don't quote me on it, but I do remember some research that said that squatting is one of the best ways you can naturally boost your testosterone.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, it's a good compound exercise.
Man, I hate front squats though. Front squats are the worst.
I'm not too comfortable with those, but but no, and of course at your age you don't have to worry, but at my age, you have to, you look at every possible way to boost your natural testosterone level. So no, I won't skip squats now. Actually, I did squats yesterday. It's my leg day.
It's pretty motivating.
And even after I had such a long day yesterday, I had a lot of meetings, and I got to the gym quite late. And we've got renovations going on in my gym, and we've only got 2 squat racks working at the moment. And my girlfriend saved me one specifically so I could, start squatting. Yeah, so I still did it, and
Amazing.
Yeah, it's actually look. I'm not a superhuman. The many times mentally, it's actually more of a mental challenge. That anyone can lift weights. Anyone can lift weights. We've all got the muscles. Start lifting weights and lifting weights. It's really a mental challenge. It's a mental challenge to get yourself into the gym every day. Go there and do that routine every day. That is it. And then many times, honestly, because like I say, I run a company as well. I'm mentally exhausted after a long day. But I just switch off somehow. It's just like an automatic thing. I just go, look, no. Of course, there's always 2 sides. I'll go home and rest today. Take a day off. You burned it, And I say no, and I just find myself in the gym. I not force myself. I just switch off, and automatically, it's like a default setting, and I find myself in the gym. And once you start working out, you feel really good.
Yeah, just getting there is always the hardest part.
Absolutely, yeah. It's mental. It's a mental challenge, and you've got to find things that motivate you. It's going to keep your motivation level up. Whether it's you give yourself small targets, larger targets. So you go, by end of 3 months, I want to be able to bench this, or I want to see more definition in my biceps or whatever. And then you have your longer term goals. So that you keep the motivation up. Find anything that keeps your motivation up, whatever it is.
What's your motivation?
I want to see how far I can take it. I've toyed with the idea of entering. There's a Mr. Universe competition for amateurs. They have a category called the Grandmasters. Believe it or not, it's for over 60s.
I do it.
I got an invite from one of the associations affiliated to this, the organization that that conducts this thing, and I'm toying with it, but I'm not too comfortable the thought of posing on a stage actually in tiny briefs. But anyway,
gotta get it oiled up
and oiled up anyway. But we'll see. But no, I just, like I say, just my motivation is just how far I can take and build this body.
Yeah, CoinSpice will sponsor you.
I was gonna say, if there's any kind of like voting process, just tell your followers and you'll immediately win the competition.
The crowd vote, at least, for sure.
Yeah, exactly.
I'll let you know. I'll keep you posted. I'll tweet it.
There
Definitely
you go.
tweet it.
Definitely keep us updated with that. Oh my god, I don't even know where to take this from here. Let's see what else.
Colin's a great interviewer, as you can tell.
Yeah, I'm just like, don't know where to go from here. Just like we covered all the gym tips that I've had to cover so far. Like, Jesus Christ.
I'm just amazed to meet this absolute legend.
I know, right?
Yeah.
Wow.
He lived up to the hype, like Vin said in his video, Carbon, you made like the perfect meme. He was even saying like y'all have like the same like arm posture and like the head tilt, and it's just the perfect meme. And then the guy lives up to the meme. It's quite amazing. The perfect representation.
Not surprised in the slightest.
Amy's in the chat actually, and she said she's gonna start a GoFundMe to get Carbon a trainer so we can get you in shape.
Oh, is that what she's saying? I don't see any chats.
Yeah, it's in the YouTube chat. So there you go, Amy. We're gonna start a GoFundMe with USD only, no crypto, because Carbon's anti-Bitcoin.
No, actually, probably because the trainer wouldn't accept it.
That's true. It's hard to get people to accept it. Yeah. So
Kyri, if they did, it'd be a pretty rough conversation for me to have on them. I'm not gonna do the sell, right?
Yeah. Here's a question for you, Kyri. How do you deal with people that keep being on the equipment with their phone?
Yeah. I've had a few encounters. No, I'll just go up to them, tap them lightly, and I say, "You do know there's a nice reception area where you can do that, right?"
I had a good.
And I mean, I'm always polite, and then I say, and then they say, "Look, I just, and I'll ask him if I can share it with you."
Yeah, we can.
You try as much as possible, but some they do tend to be there a little bit too long, and that's when I will tell them, "Look, there's a nice lounge over there. You can go and do your social media. Can you let us train?"
Yeah. So Kyri, have you ever used crypto in real life? Have you like spent it at a restaurant or used it to buy anything online?
Come on, man. Only Roger does that.
Hey, I'm just asking.
No one else buys their fucking lunch with this shit.
Because nobody accepts
it. I don't think there's any outlets in Malaysia that actually accept crypto, interestingly enough.
I think I'll have to look. There's some maps. I think there is. Yeah, I don't know. To me, it's like a chicken and the egg problem. Like, you need to have the merchants to be able to accept it, but then you also need the customers that want to spend it, right? And so,
what's wrong with you, Jim, friend, that you haven't been to the one restaurant in Malaysia that accepts Bitcoin Cash? Sounds like a you problem.
But actually, I think here the acceptance level would be very, very high. I mean, people would want to use crypto. We've done when we've done events, we've done some competitions where the prizes were actually then we were using Dogecoin, which is practically worthless then. But and if they go around answering a few questions, they can win these Dogecoins, and then from that they can, if they want to exchange their Dogecoins for merchandise and things that we had, they could. And most of the young kids didn't want to; they wanted to keep the Dogecoin.
That was with Ada Plus.
Yeah, with Ada Plus. This was when we had there's some events we participate in that are run by my regulator, which is the Securities Commission Malaysia. We have two financial regulators in Malaysia. One is the central bank, Bank Negara, as it's called, and the other one is Securities Commission Malaysia, which anything to do with securities comes under them, stock market, all types of securities, mutual funds, etc. So they run an event, it's called InvestSmart, where they're trying to educate the general public in terms of how to invest and the different type of asset classes that they can invest in Malaysia. So in our booth, what we had was we run this competition and all that, and it was, like I say, it proved very popular with millennials, and they didn't want. We had these pendants and T-shirts and things that they could, once they completed it's like a treasure hunt, they can come back and claim, and they didn't want to exchange their Dodge coins. They wanted to hold on to them.
They wanted to hodl them.
So they're kind of like they get it. They like it, and they're quite tech savvy, and they're quite they have an appetite for technology here. So I think we now have recently the regulator licensed 3 crypto exchanges in Malaysia. So they're coming out with the framework for regulated ICOs. So they are evolving. So we'll see what happens here.
Gotcha. So we have a question for you in the chat. Ask about travel. Where have you all been, and what's your favorite place?
I spent my early life in Europe, so a few countries in Europe. Of course, I grew up in UK. Done Spain, I've done France, I've done Italy. I spent a lot of time in Italy. Love Italy. Of course, Cyprus. I've done Oman in the Gulf States. I've been to Egypt. In the Far East, or in Asia, I've been to most of the countries in Southeast Asia, which is Indonesia, Philippines, Vietnam, Thailand. And last year I went to Japan for the first time, which I loved. I went to Tokyo. I was fortunate enough to be to be able to spend 10 days in Tokyo, and I love that as well. Checked out the gyms there as well; they're really good.
Yeah. I would guess you check out the gyms everywhere.
Yeah. But fortunately enough, you see, the person who was hosting me, has his own private gym, and he's got his whole apartment block, and in the bottom floor he's got his own private gym. So I was able to work out there.
Nice.
Because gyms there are very expensive, and the problem was also I only wanted to sign up for a week, and most of them couldn't accept that. You had to sign up for at least a month, and it didn't make sense, and they're very expensive, and it just didn't make sense. But he was kind enough to allow me to train in his own private gym.
Nice. Here's a question for you. Has the Havening been priced in?
Okay, this is not a trick question, right? Has the what?
Yeah.
Sorry, give me that again, Colin.
Yeah, it's kind of a trick question. It's like one of those stupid debates you see when you're deep within crypto Twitter. It's called
who asked that?
Mike in Space.
I thought so. Okay. The answer is fuck off, Mike. In that case.
Yeah. Damn it, Mike. It's a spectrum. Yeah, instead of us red pilling him on Bitcoin Cash, he's red pilling us on working out. Yeah, that's the power of the gym friend. What factors in Malaysia? Here we go. What factors in Malaysia make it friendly to an equity crowdfunding platform like yours? Is there any particular or easy, harder?
It's right. Well, we do have the government support to an extent. They recently launched a fund to co-invest. It's a co-investment fund. So they're looking at ways to strengthen, if you like, the asset class and make it more attractive. They will allow liquidity into it when we launch our secondary market this year. So they're allowing us that. They do allow us to innovate and push, if you like, the boundaries within reason. Again, you must remember this generally tends to be a little bit of a conservative country, but I think that could be changing. it's an asset class that appeals to the millennials, and they make up quite a sizable amount of the population. And the other demographic factor that's working to our favor is that the first generation of millennials are starting to make investment decisions now. So, so that appeals. They'd rather invest in equity crowdfunding as an asset class rather than the stock market, which is kind of dull and lackluster here, Of course, we have restrictions. The amounts I can raise are quite small. We're looking to be able to possibly double that. We're trying to appeal more to foreign overseas investors. I mentioned earlier, we've managed to secure a sizable investment into one of my campaigns from a German investor, which is the largest single overseas investment today in this asset class. But generally, the biggest challenge we have is the lack of understanding and awareness of it. Us as a small platform with the limited resources that we have, it's very difficult to get meaningful impact in terms of awareness into the general public here. We do it, of course, in collaboration with our regulator, but of course, there's a lot more to be done. We're trying our best. Exit stories have helped. We've had 3 exit stories in the last year, which is quite quick within 3 years, which is very good. And that gives more confidence, if you like, to the investor that, that this is a viable asset class. This market tends to be a little bit conservative. Properties has always traditionally been the so-called safe haven for your, secure, smart way to invest your money. But I think people are beginning to change their view on that as an asset class, especially millennials. Yeah. It's a competitive field. We now have about 10 platforms. It was started off with 6. We were one of the original 6, and they've licensed 4 more. But they're not all active. The new ones haven't began yet. Out of the 6 original ones, there's only really us and one other one, which is the lead in terms of amount raised, that are dominating, if you like. We're probably number 2. And we started off from 0, which I'm quite pleased about. I look at it positively overhead. I look at the trends that are going on in terms of the kind of the emergence, if you like, of more entrepreneurs and the need for funding, and why this is an important ecosystem to support for many, many reasons. Mm-hmm. So I'm generally bullish on it. Of course, our interest in Bitcoin and blockchain or crypto is, how does the technology facilitate our bigger aims, our vision and our objectives in terms of being able to allow investors easy way to invest in small amounts into these promising companies, and it makes it, and also for the companies, the issuers, for them to fundraise without all the middlemen and the high costs and everything else, and to be able to have access to funds from anywhere.
Carbon, do you have any opinion on his crowdfunding platform from what you've heard about it so far? What was your general?
I came into this super late, and I've also had a long day, to be quite honest. But I think that if what you're doing is working, you should keep on doing it.
All right.
Yeah.
I haven't looked into his business.
That's fine. I guess just in general, just crowdfunding equity into businesses through crypto. It's kind of
crowdfunding equity into businesses through crypto.
I think that's
currently it's actually it's fiat, but like I say, we will evolve it into with crypto as well.
Right. I mean, before you said there was like $2.50. Was that using fiat?
Yeah, that was fiat. Yeah.
So you're gonna make the transition.
Fiat can do microtransactions too, buddy.
But what about the fees?
Actually, when you invest, there's a small payment gateway fee, but we only take fees on the success basis. So it comes out of the total amount raised.
Okay.
Yeah. So the investor doesn't affect them.
Gotcha. Here's one for you. Do you think it'd be possible to install a Bitcoin ATM in Malaysia? There used to be a couple of them years back, but apparently they've disappeared.
Yeah, I think so now. I think that's a natural evolution here because they've, like I say, they've licensed these exchanges. So I think that would be the next logical, possibly next logical step forward here. I do, just a matter of interest. I know our Prime Minister here. I don't know if you know who he is. I mean, he's remarkable. He's 92 and he's still leading the country. So that's what, when I told you about, I could still be training in 30 years. He's my role model. He's been looking at the possibility of a gold-backed crypto, for Malaysia.
Gotcha. Okay, so I've been getting a lot of requests. Do you have your phone handy that you can download a wallet?
What do you mean download a wallet?
So a crypto wallet. So it's basically just an app, and then you just download it. Probably the people are wanting to give you Bitcoin Cash, so probably the Bitcoin.
Okay, where do I go? Go to App Store, is it?
Yep, App Store, and then probably the easiest one is the Bitcoin.com. So you can just search Bitcoin.com.
Okay, well, I'm gonna hop out. I've gotta run.
Okay, sounds good.
Okay.
See you,
all right.
Thanks.
Pleasure meeting you, Jim friend.
Have a nice meeting you. Best luck with your wedding.
Thank you.
Oh, wedding. See you, man.
Okay, Bitcoin wallet. Bitcoin.
Yep. Okay. So probably the Bitcoin.com one. All right, let's see here. Let's get you back a little bigger. See it?
Yeah, but the only thing is I gotta sign in.
To your app store. Yeah, that's. I mean, technically, it might be a direct download somewhere. Let's see.
I'm just trying to remember my. I always.
Please do not give
Let me. How long do I have on this? I just got to check my.
It's all right. Go do your thing. We're waiting. No worries. See, that's the guy that caused you to get crypto famous, I guess.
Yeah.
By a simple little Photoshop. So funny how the internet works. Yeah, I watched this video the other day. Harold, I was talking to you earlier. I'll show you a picture of him real quick. You'll probably know exactly what I'm talking about. So this guy, Harold, I'm sure you recognize him.
No. Sorry.
Anyway, he's like super internet famous just like by being a meme. And I just like watched this video the other day where he just like, oh yeah, they woke up one day and I was all over the internet. And he's a super nice guy. It's just it reminds me. This just reminds me of your whole situation, just like on a way smaller scale. But just recovering your password here for your app store.
Yeah, I'm trying to recover my password. That's what I seem to have lost you.
That's all good. see. That APK Bitcoin Cash wallet.
How come I've lost you? Why don't I see you anymore?
Is there not a mobile web version? Oh, we could use. Oh no, it's gonna be on his phone. I work out too, and that's a question. I do jiu-jitsu actually. I try to go 3 times a week. I used to lift a lot more when I was in college. I did college football for a year, and that was just so much lifting. I think I have PTSD from all the lifting, to be completely honest with you. Waking up at like 4 a.m. to go lift and doing those front squats, and we were doing those power lifts where you do like 3 reps till fail. Oh man, I got way big and huge and strong, but man, that was just not fun. But yeah, and I just do jiu-jitsu. I could definitely lift more, but I don't know. Jiu-jitsu's fun.
No, I did a little bit of Muay Thai one time.
Nice.
I did it for about a year. I had a personal trainer come 2-3 times a week, and I do that. But I just lost a lot of weight. I got very lean, and lost a lot of muscle mass.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I decided to not. I don't seem to find you anymore for some reason. I don't know why.
Zoom would be the window. It's still.
Yeah, I'm looking for it, and I've seen to. I don't know where it is. Hang on. No. Why am I not? I've lost you. I don't know why.
All right. Well, as long as you can hear me, we should be all right.
I can hear you. Okay, so let me try. I'm looking. Okay, where's my password? I do keep it somewhere.
Oh, here's a question for you. Do you plan on hosting your own show? You could do a gym workout show.
Yeah.
Here, try this to find me. Alt tab. Hold Alt and then press tab on your keyboard.
Hold.
Alt tab.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Anything?
No.
Alt tab. Should be able to find me. Oh yes, the gym friend workout hour. Yeah, you have all of crypto Twitter working out. It's like you ever see those Peloton bike things where they like live stream into like a bike workout class? I guess it's a good idea. Get motivated, but it's interesting.
No, I still can't find. I'm trying to Alt tab and it's just not.
Is there anything? Are you finding other windows or?
I don't know why. And got you back.
Awesome.
I got you now. I can't find the. The only thing is I can't find the my password. I know I changed it, and then that's all it has.
Let's see. Done APK. So you have an iPhone?
Yes, I do.
Okay, let's see here.
Hang on. Hang on. This might be it. Oh, no, but that was 2018. It's been changed. Let me try. Let me try this.
So we could do, if you can't get that done right now, I can just do a wallet for you and just forward all of the tips towards you when you get it figured out.
Yeah, that would be good because I think otherwise.
All right.
No, it's obviously I've changed it a few times for whatever reason. Sorry, apologies.
It's all good. Yeah, iPhone. I would send you like a direct download link to download a wallet, but iPhones don't really like that so much. So, all right, let's see what we can do here. So, let me. Let's do. We could just do. Yeah, we'll do Electron Cash here. It's opening up here on my screen, and then taking a little bit. Man. What is going on here? All right, here we go. All right, so we'll do. All right, so here's my wallet, and I will do this QR code here, and all right, so I'll put it back up on the screen in 1 second. Yeah, so also what I have is a browser extension, which you might want. It's called, well, it's not called MetaMask. It's called Badger Wallet. And so you can see it on my screen right here. Let me move you out of the way so you can see a little bit better. But so like this is right in my browser. I have all my Bitcoin right here in my browser. And then if I wanted to like receive, I just press deposit, and this QR code would be it. So we'll go back to this address though. And so here's a QR code, everybody. I'll put this in the chat, the address, and there's a QR code. Anything sent here will be sent right to Kyri once. Looks like he's still working on it, so looks like we already got $5 here, so already sent over. So very nice.
Thank you. So, what can I use that for? I want to do something with that that's useful.
So
maybe the.
So I think the coolest thing is Purse.io. Basically, you can buy anything off Amazon with like 15 to 30% off. I think that's the coolest thing. So I mean, $5, maybe buy something. Another things are like Travala. You can do hotel rooms. Oh, there comes another transaction.
Yeah, I don't want to use it for myself. I want, maybe to donate it to a cause or something.
Yeah, we could do that. So one of the coolest ones I think is called Eat BCH. So here I'll pull it up. So there we go. Got 3 transactions so far. Very cool. They are based out of Venezuela and South Sudan, and you donate Bitcoin Cash. And another transaction came in. Very cool. We're already at like 5 transactions. Look at that.
Oh,
and there we go. Oh, somebody just sent $100. Wow.
Wow. Wow.
So yeah, if you want to forward it, I can forward it to here, no problem. But yeah, what they do is they feed kids in need, and so this is out of Venezuela. They have their proof here. Let me move it out of the way. Move you out of the way. So this is their Twitter handle, and this is like the block height. So it's like the latest Bitcoin Cash block, so it's recent. And so I don't know the guy behind it. His name's Jose. He's very, very cool. This is their Venezuela branch. And so, yeah, they buy food, cook it, and give it out to the people in need. And I'm not sure if you know the situation in Venezuela right now, but it's their currency is super fucked. Yeah. Like it's 98% inflation. Like last year, I think it was like it's almost like 80% this year already. We're only like 2 weeks in. But yeah, this is EPCH. If you wanted to, I could forward it to them. They're in Venezuela and South Sudan. So this is my favorite Bitcoin organization. So I mean, you can see like directly, and they show the proof.
Yeah, I think that's great. You can send me the link as well for that. I'd like to look at them.
Yeah, of course. Well. Yeah.
I'm more than happy for that. I think that's great.
Awesome. Yeah, I will definitely.
And I just want to thank everyone that's contributed to it and all that. That's wonderful. I appreciate the gesture, and I'm sure that those children, those people will as well.
Yeah. So yeah, it's very cool. Got $114. 8 transactions so far. So that's the power, the power of crypto right there. So very cool.
Yeah.
Very cool. Very cool. So yeah, I guess you have any questions for me about crypto? Anybody else in the chat got questions for Kyri, Mr. Jim Friend here, as we kind of wrap this thing up?
Me or you, is there any questions?
Yeah, so I always like to ask my guests if they have any questions for me, or if the chat has any more questions for any of us. But yeah, we'll just kind of wrap it up here. So let's see. Let me go back a little bit. Missed a little bit in chat. Here comes another transaction. Very cool. Another $3. Very cool. Very cool.
Wonderful.
Average inflation rate is what, 1,000,000% in Venezuela? Dear Lord. So yeah, there comes another one, like 40 cents. We got 10 transactions so far. 12 transactions are coming in now. Very cool. Very cool. So yeah, these are, doesn't have the USD quite, but I saw one was like 40 cents. So, like you said, with the microtransactions, I mean,
that's great. I love it. That's fantastic. That's what it's all about.
Mm-hmm. What is your, here's a question I ask you. What's your max bench, bro?
Currently, did 3 plates. That's 60, 120 with the bar, 140 kg.
140 kg. I need to translate that to American.
I used to do more when I was younger. I used to do up to, I think, 180 kg. But now, no, of course I have to adjust. As you age, you have to adjust a little bit. And so I want to avoid injuries as much as possible. I don't push it as hard either, because it takes, when you get older, injuries take a bit more time to recover. So you've got, so I'm generally injury free. And generally, actually, I hardly get sick. That's the other thing. And I go for checkups, and I have my doctor, monitor everything. Everything, I'm good in terms of my cholesterol level, my hormones levels. I check all the major things, so it's pretty good. So, but as I say, at my age, I want to avoid injuries as much as possible. So I don't do single reps and things like that. I try and avoid that. So I don't really test myself on maximum.
Yeah.
Even for my bench at 140, I would do like 4 or 5 reps. I don't go single reps. Maybe if I went single reps, I could probably do a bit more.
Mm-hmm. Gotcha. I need to just type that into. I need to Americanize that real quick. 1 kg to. Let's see. There we go. 3. Yeah, that's a lot. 308. So yeah, you probably do like 330, 340 max. So yes. How do you scan this while being on your cell? Here's the address for you again. I'll put it in chat. Scan it while on your cell. That's always a problem. But yeah, I think we'll wrap it up here. Here, I'll send this over to EPCH right now. So let's see. I think they got there's their address right there. So we'll copy that. And then I think I had like $20 in here before, but that's all right. I'll send it over to him too. Max $142. And then we're gonna send it on over, and always make sure that you have the correct address. It's always scary when you're sending Bitcoin sometimes. PP8, cool. Send, and there it goes. So
fantastic.
Thank you for that. If I get any more to this address, I'll make sure to forward it.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you so much. All right, we'll wrap it up here. Thank you so much for your time. Great little interview. Got to learn more. Hopefully everybody gets motivated to go to the gym a little bit more. I know I have. So I appreciate it. So thank you so much. Thank you everybody for watching.